hear me? Type the number 8, the digit 8 in the chat if you can hear me okay and all the video and audio is sounding and looking okay. If the audio looks good and the sound... No, wait. If the audio... Yes, if the audio looks good and the sound and the picture sounds great, let me know. Okay, we're good. You look cold out there in space. Would you like to come inside my spaceship? Come inside my spaceship. Would you like to? Here we go. I'm going to let you in my spaceship, okay? Here it is. You're inside my spaceship now. But don't... You got to behave yourself. Otherwise, I'll punish you. And I'll put you back outside the spaceship. So you guys got to be good. Okay? You promise? Okay. You can be inside the spaceship this time. For now. I will allow it. What's going on, guys? So listen. I've got a structure for this show now, for this dog shit stream. Okay? I got a whole structure I'm trying to establish now. Trying to put on a professional show here. Okay? And I got to promote myself more. So I'm going to list all my plugs, all my links. Okay? So first of all, the first item on the outline is greeting. Hello. That is my greeting. The greeting is now complete. Well, this is a great show so far, you guys. You guys are so lucky. What's everyone saying in the chat? Where have you been, John? Jesus Christ, dude. Thought you were dead again. Yes. I've been absent from social media for X amount of weeks, months. That can only mean one thing, that I died in a horrific car crash and was mangled beyond all recognition. But you know what? I'm feeling much better now. On with my introduction. We did the greeting. The greeting is complete. I got a website, imaginativelogo.com. Go there or I'll kick your ass, because it has links to all my stuff. So you should go there, because my stuff is dope. Okay? It's fly and dope. Go to my YouTube channel. The one you're on right now. Subscribe. Like and subscribe immediately. Or I will also kick your ass again. If you don't go to my website and you don't like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'm going to kick your ass twice. I'm going to kick your ass for everything that you don't subscribe to or visit, okay? What else do I have here? SoundCloud. I got a SoundCloud. That's where I post all my crappy music. So go there and listen. Feast your ears. Oh boy, we got a Chungus super chat already. I'll get to the super chats, okay? Let me get my plugs out of the way, okay? I gotta do this shit. Okay, my SoundCloud, yeah, I post my music. When I make music, I've had a bit of a dry spell when it comes to music, but I plan to start it up again because I got some sweet digital instruments that I want to use. And I got a little mini keyboard too. It's cool. What else? I got music albums for sale and listening on a variety of music streaming platforms such as iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. I thought you could buy them from Amazon and Spotify, or at least I know you can buy them on iTunes. You can buy tracks and albums individually. But Amazon, I guess, has just gone purely on a listening model where I guess they pay out creators based on listens and ad revenue. I don't even know how it works. It's fucking annoying trying to stay on top of all this shit. Um, but I think if you listen on Amazon and Spotify, that generates revenue for me if you don't want to buy anything. Because who wants to pay for anything? Because paying money is fucking lame and stupid. But yeah, if you want to listen and buy my epic music, you can go to one of those. I know you can buy it off iTunes at least. Follow me on the social media. Social media is a phenomenon across a variety of platforms where you can post text content and funny memes and images and AI slop. So I have social media profiles on X and Instagram. Used to be called Instagram after me, but now it's just called Instagram. And what's the other one? Facebook. This is the worst plug reading ever. But it's okay. It's not really, but whatever. You're here listening to this tripe. It's up to you. You don't have to. You can click the red X right now and get out of here. You're still here? Wow. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just keep going then. Follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. You guys remember Twitter? Well, it's not fucking Twitter anymore. It's X. Okay, it's fucking X. I have the X Factor because I'm on X. And if you want that special X Factor, you got to be on X too, and you got to follow me. Or like I said, I'll kick your ass. So I'm on X. And I shitpost every day on X. I dedicate a small bit of my day every day to shitpost on X. Please enjoy my shitposts, or I'll kick your ass. Follow me on Instagram, where I sometimes post vain selfies and me having a good time, which isn't often. But occasionally in this life, I have a smile on my face once or twice a year. And I'll take a photo of myself if I'm in the mood. And Facebook, I post my I have a studio page, imaginative logo. I can't even fucking talk. Go there. And I mean, that's not my primary one. Like I'm usually I use X as my primary, like keeping people up to date on my projects and stuff. But I also secondarily post all my links to my content on my Facebook page, imaginative logo. So go there or I'll kick your ass. You can pay me money and support my work at patreon.com/JCJGraham. Because everyone has a fucking Patreon now. And so do I. If you have money to piss away, you can give it for me. Give it to me so I can piss it away. I have a variety of tiers on Patreon. Chad, Gosu, and Haxor, depending on how much you would like to support me and what rewards you would like in return. I have rewards include screenplay downloads, screenplays that I've written for past works of mine. I do video commentaries for my Gosu tier subscribers. I've done video commentaries on Arby and the Chief seasons 1 to 7. There's a commentary for like every episode, just about. I don't think I've done Endgame yet, or the movie. I can't remember. I think I've just done the story season so far, and now I've started doing season 8 commentaries. I've got commentary on season 8 episode 1 ready to go, but I haven't posted it yet. I think I'm going to post that on Monday. And I have a Hacksaw tier. That's for the big swinging dicks. That's if you have a huge dick, you can give me $20 a month as a Hacksaw, and you get the other stuff I mentioned, plus you get an on-screen credit as a producer at the end of my mainline uploads. How exciting is that? Wow. You can be immortalized forever. So those are my rewards, okay? That's my fucking Patreon. YouTube, you can support me on there too. You can join and become a YouTube member. And that's an automatic monthly payment. You can cancel at any time. But if you do, I will kick your ass. Just saying. You have freedom to act, but you don't have freedom from consequences, okay? I will kick your ass. Leave a super chat or a super thanks, because sometimes just thanks is not enough. People thank me for my work, and I'm like, I don't care about your thanks. This is not a super thanks. There's no money attached to this thanks. This is garbage. So send me a fucking super thanks or I'll kick your ass. Or a super chat. And we've already had some super chats and I haven't gotten to them yet because I'm a fucking jerk. I gotta finish all this. I gotta finish all my plugs. We're almost done, okay? Bear with me. Or, if you don't want YouTube to take a whopping 30% of all the super chat and super thanks, you can also visit my Streamlabs link at streamlabs.com/JohnCJGvideo. That's /JohnCJGvideo. You should be able to see the links on my superimposed next to me. There it is. It's actually not superimposed. The text is actually floating in front of me, if you can believe it. Wow. Isn't technology amazing? So there's my, that's my Streamlabs link. Go there. I keep forgetting to check it. So in case I forget, remind me to check the Streamlabs donations, because I always fucking forget. Sorry about that. What else? Okay. So I got all my annoying fucking plugs and support shit out of the way. So let's do a brief overview of the structure of the show. So I thought a lot about segmenting the show into chunks that I can, not only for an improved listening experience, but also to make it easier to chop out content and make videos out of my streams. You know, if I go on a rant on something, a new game came out and I have a lot to say about it, I'll do it on this stream because I've tried recording that shit offline and it doesn't fucking work because getting my brain to cooperate with me is a fucking nightmare. But I can do it online because I'm in front of an audience live. It sort of gets me out of my head and I can actually like talk and think because I have no choice. Like if I flub, if I'm offline, the temptation is to just reset and re-record every single sentence that I utter. But if I'm live, if I flub, I have no choice but to just move on because people are watching and they're like, come on, we're busy. Where's the quality Jontent? So here this is a steady stream of Jontent directly into your butt. Brace yourself. Gotta goatsy your butt. Just let it all in. What a terrible show this is. So here's my structure of my show. Okay? We got production updates, news and technology, film and television, and gaming. Okay? In that order. And I made title graphics for each segment that I'll show you in a minute. And in between each of those, we'll take a break for super chats if any come in. Okay? So that's my new structure for my show that I want to try and follow. Okay? And then yeah. So we can get into it. Okay? This is the start of the show, and here's our first title graphic. Are you ready? You're not gonna fucking believe this. Get ready to have your mind blown. Wow. Wasn't that amazing? A round of applause for me, because I'm so great at graphic design and video editing. So welcome to the production update segment of the show. Okay? What's been going on? John, I hear you ask in unison. Well, I'll tell you. I haven't posted anything in a while because I've been busy, and it's been tough being productive. I tried, but it's hard because I've moved to a new place, and it's a big pain in the ass moving. I had to make a lot of trips out of town, cleaning the old property, just tearing everything down, setting up my new office, not just for function, but for visual appeal, because I got to use it to shoot Arby stuff, like my Luigi's Mansion video that I just made. Because my bedroom is an eternally hot set for filmmaking genius. So yeah, I took a couple months off basically, and I paused my Patreon for 2 months in a row. Can you believe that? What a financial hit that was. Now I'm poor. I don't want to take people's money if I don't make shit, because it's a lot of money to take. And for at least a full month, I wanted to just completely switch off and just focus on moving. Because it's too much fucking crap to deal with, and to try and be creative at the same time to the scale that I do, like writing fucking essentially feature films and funny sketches. I mean, even Arby and the Chief, I mean, even if it's just a 10-minute thing, it's hard. Lot of writes, a lot of writing, a lot of rewrites, a lot of shots. It's hard to be creative when you just feel like unsettled and in a constant state of transition, going from one place to another, and just making like, I didn't want to get a big moving truck, so I went in a lot of little trips in my car, just packing my car with as much shit as possible. So yeah, it was distracting, and I just wanted to take a month off at least. And then I was like, by month 2, I'll still be sort of having to deal with moving crap, but I think I'll have enough of it done, enough of the heavy lifting done, that I can set aside some time to just sit down and concentrate. But then I was having a really hard time doing that, and so I paused it for another month, my Patreon income. So, but now I'm making shit again. You better believe I'm gonna let that charge cycle come rolling. You're all gonna get charged. All my Patreonies. September comes around. You better believe I'm charging those credit cards. So brace yourself. Prepare your anus. Okay? If you don't want to, if you have barely any money left, but you've got your credit card still connected to my Patreon, and you forgot to disconnect it. Beware, because I'm going to take it and spend it frivolously, and then you won't have any money for food, and you'll die. Um. So yeah. About so. What else do I have? Um. I have been working my ass off now across the past since the beginning of August, or really like late September and then all of August. I know I haven't uploaded anything, but and it may not seem like it, but I've been actually working my ass off on a bunch of different projects. Um, for instance, I made these amazing title graphics like the one you just saw from my podcast, and I structured the whole thing, which took a lot of thinking to figure out, to segment it all properly in a way that works with the way my mind works. And it's one of those things where it's like it's so simple. It seems so simple to come up with. It's like, yeah, that's like a, couple hours, just think about it, and then boom, there you go. But it took a lot of just sitting and thinking to reach things that seem simple to reach, you know? Just to get everything clicking together in my head and be like, yes, this is the way to do the stream, you know? So it was a lot of just sitting, thinking, and taking notes just for hours and hours and hours. And yeah, I'm finally in a nice little routine now where I can just sit and concentrate and be creative. And now I'm just focused entirely on work because I'm pretty much all settled in now, and my office is all set up and lit properly, and I can shoot things in here. And yeah, so it's all set up. All my equipment's functioning, and it looks nice, so I can shoot episodes in here. A nice little visual addition to my office, you may have noticed, is my Kino collection. My Kino Blu-ray wall, where I collect only the very finest Kino, and I watch only the very finest Kino. Puts all other Kino collections to shame. Only I have the finest Kino films. So I like that that's going to be in the background of a bunch of stuff that I shoot now for Arby and the Chief and stuff, because I'm very heavily influenced by filmmaking. Arby and the Chief certainly is. And it's just cool to have that as a backdrop, all my favorite movies. You know? So what else? Yeah, so that's my moving crap. I'm all set up, and that's all good. What else have I been working on? Oh yeah. One of the things I've been working on is coming up with content in a format with a focus on regularity and promotion. So I want to get more stuff out more often. And it's just like, how can I do that in an achievable way that's not going to drive me insane? You know? So I said I was working on a weekly Arby and the Chief series in an earlier tweet of mine. And I sat and thought about it for hours trying to figure out a way to make it work, and I can't do it. It's too much to do. Like even just that, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but I just put out an Arby and the Chief today where they play Luigi's Mansion 2. And that alone, I mean, it's not that long. It's like just over 10 minutes, but that's like almost 150 shots, 144 something unique camera angles that I shot for that. And then the script went through like a dozen revisions at least, like just combing through it over and over again. And I can't do all those revisions in one day. Like I got to just write a draft and then just put it away for the rest of the day. And then the next morning I open it up again and I rewrite it, and then I put it away. And then the next day I start writing again and I rewrite it. And I just keep doing that until the script is in a stage where I'm happy with it and I can shoot it. And then it's like breaking it all down, writing a shot list, listing all the assets, buying any props if I need to, gathering everything. and then just setting a night or two aside to shoot everything, So I set the scene, I light it, and I just sit for hours at night on my own, just getting every single camera shot that I need. And then the next day I do an assembly cut, and then the day after that's a rough cut, and then I do a rough sound mix, and then a fine cut. So even just for a little Arby and the Chief thing, it's a lot of work. And I know what, like, when I used to work with Machinima, I released Arby and the Chief on a daily basis, but that was I was moving at a furious pace, and I had zero time for anything else, including a social life. Definitely not any other. Well, I guess sometimes there was time for other projects, and it was good for me to be able to like jump between projects because I'd get tunnel vision in one, and then it's just like, okay, I'll work on this one for a bit because I'm like with a fresh perspective because I'm so bogged down in the other one that I can look at this new one with like fresh pair of eyes. Um, but yeah, I gotta make time for myself. Other parts of my life at the very least to like walk and exercise and eat right, and frankly to just be able to sit down and watch a movie at night. You know, I have been working my ass off, but I do take time at night to watch, an episode or two of television or a movie or play a bit of something. Because I gotta like decompress, and then it helps me sort of relax, and then I can get a good sleep and then wake up and do everything all over again, you know and maintain, get up at like a decent hour. um so yeah, so what I've figured out instead, because I knew like I can't do a weekly RB and the Chief series because it's too much, and in order to do that they would have to be really short, and then I don't think they would be satisfying because they'd be so short. So I'd like to do one RB in the Chief thing a month. It might be an RB in the Chief plays thing, or it could be a bigger project that I develop on the side while I'm doing the play series that I've made. So I've come up with a new RB in the Chief series. It's the play series, I'm calling it. RB in the Chief Play X, right? And so this one that I just put out is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD for Switch, which is a HD re-release of Dark Moon on the 3DS. Um, so I've just made that, and I've already got another one in development about Nintendo World Championships NES edition, which is also for Switch. I'm doing an RB and the Chief plays that, and the script for that is like 70% done already. It needs a few more revisions still, but I'm trying to get ahead of production where I don't feel constantly like down to the wire, where it's just like, oh, I gotta get this episode done tonight or they're gonna break my legs. I know you wouldn't break my legs, but I want to be ahead by a couple weeks at least of releases, and not feel, just minimize the amount of pressure that's on me. So it's just figuring out a lot of like balancing stuff in my head and making good lifestyle choices and stuff, and coming up with a schedule of content that's satisfying for you guys and also achievable, creatively satisfying and achievable for me while still being able to live and sleep healthily, you know? Um and of course, like, in doing an RB thing a month, I'm also working on Hard Justice, which is like a feature length thing. I mean, the first episode was like an hour and something. Those are basically feature length films that I'm writing and shooting myself. So, I mean, a bunch of stuff is getting written on the side alongside these RB projects, right? If I did an RB and the Chief weekly series, I wouldn't be able to do any other projects. I mean, it's like one or the other. Um, because like I was saying, when I worked for Machinima, I used to jump between different projects, but it's just like, it's, I don't know, because I guess I was sort of developing projects simultaneously, but back then, but I just that that schedule was so like furious and hard to manage and draining on me. I mean, that's why I was constantly asking for breaks for Machinima because I kept getting burned out over and over. Um, but that said, I am aiming for weekly releases. It's just not RB and the Chief every week. So I want to do an RB and the Chief every month, and then pull content out of my streams where I talk about stuff. You know, like if I have a little prepped rant on the Dead Rising remaster, for instance, which I actually have written part of my outline. I don't know if we'll talk about that today, maybe. But whenever I am to do that on my stream, I can segment that out and release that as a video, because not everybody is going to watch my whole streams because I just go for fucking hours and hours. Um so anyway, yeah. So I'm focusing on regularity, a schedule that's achievable for me while also engaging my audience more and putting stuff out more frequently, but also promoting my content more effectively as well by, utilizing clips and screenshots and posting on X everything that I share, whether it's like mainline uploads to my channel that are public or whenever I post bonus content to my Patreon, because I think a lot of people are just unaware of how much stuff I have on there. Including production tutorials, by the way. I forgot to do that. I mean, I made a whole, like, at least 8 hour, like 8 part, like at least 12 hours altogether, like edited video production tutorial series where I cover everything from brainstorming to screenwriting to production to editing, like my entire process. And I worked really hard on that. And that's for the Hacksaw subscribers. So, and in addition to getting an on-screen producer credit, that's another reward at that tier. So yeah, I got to promote my content more and my bonus content more. I'm trying to up my Patreon income a little bit if I can. I'm gonna make one of the things I'm working on as well as a call to action video that will sort of function as like a drawing attention to my Patreon and whatever other crowdfunding options, and then it also sort of functions as a trailer for the things that I am working on. Because believe it or not, I do work hard, and making a show like Hard Justice and RB and the Chief takes a lot of time and effort and energy. And I of course appreciate everything that I get. So thank you. I know there's still super chats, we haven't gotten to them yet, but I will get to them. Okay. I do very much appreciate everything. So what else? Oh yeah, and I also, I said it already, but I'm, in addition to my content regularity ambitions, I'm also trying to post on X more to just increase my engagement on there. And so whenever I go out to write, I like to just sit and shit post on X for like a half hour and just read what everyone's posting. Just keep up with the news, keep up with what all my connections are saying and posting on Twitter, and then retweeting some jokes and writing some shit posts and shit. So I like to do that. RB and the Chief Play series, I talked about that. I turned my music albums into videos. And so they're all edited, they're all uploaded. I haven't made them available yet. They're not public, but they are there in my video queue. And they have time codes, they have track names, So I will be premiering those across the next couple of weeks. Um, I don't know if I should do. So I have four. That's four. It's like, is that four? No, that is. I have four albums that I turned into videos, and so all my tracks will be available for free listening on YouTube, and you can just skip to whatever track you want because the time codes will be there in the form of, well, in the description. And so the way YouTube works is that you can click on those time codes and it'll bring you to wherever that code is in the video. Um, so I'm wondering if I should release those once a week, or I'm thinking if I post the first one next Saturday, and then the second album will be on Sunday, and then the third album will be on Monday, and then Tuesday for the last one. Or if I should just spread them out across a month. But I don't know. Maybe I think that's like waiting too long. I wonder if I should just make a sort of dedicate a string of days back to back to just getting all my music albums out. I would appreciate some input on that if you guys have thoughts. Um, I'll do one or the other. I'm not sure. Uh, what else? My music's for sale. I already talked about that. You can at least get it off iTunes. I made a commentary for R Being the Chief Season 8, Episode 1 that I'll put out on Monday. Gonna let everyone sort of digest this Luigi's Mansion video first that I just made. Hard Justice Episode 2. A draft of the whole episode has been done for some time, but now I'm carefully just rewriting every scene. Like I rewrite, like I try and rewrite a scene a day if I have time. But when during my writing time, I only have so much bandwidth. Usually, it's like working on an R being the chief thing. But if I have the energy, I'll also like get a scene in Hard Justice rewritten. And then when as soon as the script for Hard Justice is in a state I'm happy with, then I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot all that, and then that'll take place of R being the chief for a month. You know, like if the Hard Justice script is done, then I'll aim to put Hard Justice out that month and get everything shot and edited. I'll try, because I mean, it depends when exactly I get the script done and if I have the whole month to work with, because shooting Hard Justice and getting it all edited is an enormous amount of work. It's like, I mean, that first episode of Hard Justice that's like an hour long, that was like, I think at least 720 shots, like individual camera angles. And some of those shots can last like 20 minutes, and you can't fast forward through all that shit. You have to just like capture everything from a certain angle, and it's just a lot of sitting and waiting for the shots to complete. Um just use MCC Lamau, yeah. No. Okay. Made a whole video dedicated to my reasoning as to that issue. So yeah, like on top of R being the chief play, that new series, Hard Justice, I'm working on a call to action video. I'm doing commentaries. I'm starting that back up again. I got my music albums. I'm developing an R being the chief special mini series in which the toys time travel through different eras of gaming. That's going to take me a while to finish though, like the script for that. But I'm picking at it. I'm picking away at it a little bit every day that I have time to do so. And at some point in my life, I would like to develop at least one video game, and I'm picking away at the story for that whenever I have time. And I actually have a pretty killer idea. But that's way off. Although I do know how to use Godot, and I do know how to program in C and C++. So as soon as I get everything down on paper and I got a solid idea, maybe one day I will develop a video game. We'll see. But like I said, I got enough on my plate right now, so that's not high priority by any means. That's just a little thing on the side that I like to pick away at whenever I have like a half hour to spare. Um, I have been a guest appearance on a number of shows that are not mine. Um, the GOD podcast, first of all, hosted by the Gronk Squad, or Gronking Squad, they call themselves. I'm not exactly sure how to say it correctly. But they are a hilarious bunch of Australians, and they like to talk about gaming news and stuff, and they really know their shit. So talking to them is very fun. That's hosted by Lethal Lightning and Mazza and John Connors and Cream NATO, I think. Although I don't know if they host every episode together, but those are the ones I'm familiar with. So that's a very good show. Go check that out, the GOD podcast. It's not God podcast, it's like G.O.D. You have to type in the periods to like find the show, I think. There's a cool guy I met called True Pop Culture 7, and I've been on his show a couple times. I think a couple times, because one, we were just talking about my show, and then on another episode we talked about Deadpool and Wolverine, which is a film. It is one of the films ever made. We can talk about that later too if you guys want. I don't know what we'll get to exactly today. Taking fucking forever just getting through my own production updates, for Christ's sake. I don't know. We might never finish this segment. Just warning you. We might all fucking die of natural causes here before I even get to the next segment. Metal's Forge, which is a show hosted by Metal Commander and Mark the Cyborg, which I very much enjoy going on because we talk at length about various pieces of media, movies, video games, whatever. And I particularly enjoy talking to those guys because they're both IT guys like me. We all understand computers, and I can talk about computing and code and boring shit in depth, and they'll understand what I'm saying, and vice versa. So yeah, check out Metal's Forge. That's a cool show. The Side Scrollers podcast, which I was just on this morning with Stuttering Craig and Blabbering Collector, co-hosted by them. I very much enjoy going on their show where we talk about news and just like culture stuff and gaming news, gaming and entertainment news, that kind of thing. And Every Frame a Pause, on which I am a frequent guest or semi-frequent, and also very much enjoy going on there. I think they're very smart media critics, and they're smarter than me, but they have me on anyway to talk about most recently House of the Dragon. I've been on their show covering episodes of that show. So if you want to hear my thoughts on House of the Dragon, you can tune into Every Frame a Pause. And I think they got an anniversary show coming up too that I might be on. I'm not sure yet though. And I want to pick up my game streaming. If we have time today, and if you guys are up for it, I think I would be happy resuming my playthrough of Sonic Adventure 2, which I unfortunately had to abandon months ago so I could get all this moving crap sorted out. But I would very much like to start that back up again. So we'll see how far we get today with this epic podcast. And maybe I'll do that after. That concludes my personal updates segment. Wow. Lucky you. So now, let's go to all the super chats that I've been neglecting. And thank you for all of this, by the way. It's very kind of you, and I greatly appreciate it. And we have a Chungus super chat to begin with from Francisco R. for $99.99. Um, the text reads, "To want for nothing but John, that is true freedom." Thank you very much, Francisco R. That's perhaps too generous. It's a lot of money, and I greatly appreciate it. And I promise that I will waste it on something completely fucking stupid. So thank you, or spend it on booze and drink it. Thank you, Francisco R. Xerxes for $20. Exercy. It's spelled with an X at the beginning. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I've actually been inspired to start making music like yours, so I'm hoping that this is the one thing I want to do. Anyway, here's some money, job. Now do me a favor and bite the foam. The foam. Also, it's my birthday today. Happy birthday, man. And thank you very much for your super chat. And good luck on your music making endeavors. I haven't been in the mood to do it, but recently, but when I have done it, it's never felt like work. It's honestly been pretty therapeutic. And you would think if that's the case, then I wouldn't have a problem just slipping back into it and making more music, but it's tough if you're not. I'm distracted by too many other writing and editing tasks right now to just be able to focus solely on that. And just coming up with melodies. I was sitting there for an hour and trying to like plucking away at my keyboard. And I'm just like, nothing's coming. Like I can't figure this out right now. So one day I'll get back into it. And I wish you luck with your endeavors. When you get into it and things start flowing and you start actually making shit and bringing melodies and instruments together, it's actually quite a blast. I found it very fun. So good luck with that. Happy birthday, and thank you very much. Inferno Rabbit 95 for $9.99 says, "Yo, digital Jimmy John, I'm at airport waiting to go home to Jersey. I'm a deaf submit voiceover auditions next time you open for Hard Justice. Here's the last of my Canadian bacon. My children are hungry. Needy fucks." Going home to Jersey, New Jersey. That's cool, man. Yeah. I don't know wait until if I need auditions, I'll make a thing on X and my website for people to submit. Because with episode 1, I knew enough people that I didn't have to do that. Like enough people were willing to lend their voices and like they worked for the roles that I was able to just get stuff from them and use it. But in episode 2 or episodes to follow, I may reach out to other talent, people that I'm not familiar with, which would involve listening to audition files that get submitted to me. So yeah, just wait for me to like make an announcement that I'm accepting auditions and then do that. But I really appreciate the offer. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, Inferno Rabbit 95. Xerxes again for $2 says, "Job on OnlyFans." No, not yet. I haven't taken enough feet pics. I gotta stock up on feet pics, and then I'll start that up. Thank you, Xerxes. John something for $10 says, "So the game you're developing a retro PS1/2-esque game. Low poly models are fairly easy to make, and for graphics, you can just take pictures and scale them with Photoshop. There are Blender tutorials." Yes. That is one of the ideas that I was floating at one point, and I am aware of some graphical tricks like that. Like to scale graphics down in terms of resolution and then sort of scale them up. Or like stretch out the pixels, if you know what I mean. Of course you do. That was one of my ideas, was sort of a lo-fi analog horror game, as they call it. Or a sort of vaporwave game. Or like a combination of vaporwave and horror. I was seriously considering that for a while. But what I've settled on, the idea that I have most fleshed out for a game right now would involve making a top-down um, pixel RPG, sort of like Pokemon, the way Pokemon looks. That sort of slightly angled top-down perspective, but very story-driven with comedic dialogue and like different choices you can make, and a mix of that and like Monkey Island, where you're like finding items and combining them and using them to solve puzzles and stuff like that. And I actually got a pretty cool story underpinning the whole thing as well, which I'm really happy with. So, but that's, like I said, that's a ways down the line. That's just something I'm picking away at whenever I have some free time. But it is something I'm passionate about. I do love the idea of game development. I know how fucking hard it is. So don't think that I'm naive to the process. I'm actually very familiar with how games get made. And it is something I would like to do one day. So we'll see if anything comes of that years from now. Thank you, John Something. I really appreciate that. VHSXP for $4.99 says, thanks for making a part of my childhood, John. Keep it up. Well, you're very welcome. You are most welcome to the content. I like it. I like making content. I had to take a break for a while to get some shit sorted out, you know? V Citrus for $10 says, glad to see you online and still kicking. Have you checked out my Arby and the Chief fan animation on my YouTube channel? Sorry, I haven't. But that's cool, and I really appreciate your super chat. Thank you. Indeed, I am still alive. Shocking, I know. Sam Collin for $10 says, loved Arby and the Chief growing up. Pretty sure Chief's influence made me lose IQ points, and now I'm kinda Arsler. Retarded. Oh my god, he said it. Hashtag cancelled. I lol out loud in real life. Thanks, John. Well, I'm sorry I damaged your brain, but I hope you enjoyed the ride that I took you on nonetheless, even if you have come out the other end mentally brain dead. Well, not completely. You still have enough brain cells to write this super chat, which I'm very grateful for, so thank you. Marcus Woe for $5 says, you should cut together more funny and popular moments from RB for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Twitter. Might be good promotion. I know, but it's just, that's all time that I could spend making new shit. And it's just like, where I've made so much content, it's like, where do I start in terms of making clips? Do I just start clipping everything I've ever made, and then it's the issue of like clogging everybody's feeds. Like, here's another fucking short from John Graham from a thing you already saw. Like, and then I'll piss people off, and then I lose subscribers. That always fucking pisses me off when I upload a new thing and then I lose a bunch of subscribers. Like, what the fuck? I only gain subscribers if I don't upload anything for a while. Then it's like, oh, I gained some today. Oh, I gained a couple more today. Oh, some more. Cool. And then I post something, and then there's like a spike, a drop, where a bunch of people are just like, oh, he uploaded something. Disgusting. Delete. I don't want this. It's like, why'd you subscribe then? I guess maybe it's a bunch of people who have been subscribed to me for so long, and they've made up their mind that they don't like my new stuff anymore. I don't know what's going on there. Or maybe it's just some YouTube thing where they trim inactive users or something. I don't fucking know. I'll think about it, Marcus, okay? Because I do realize there is value in that promotion and utilizing YouTube Shorts, because I know people do see a lot of success in the viewership on Shorts in particular, because everybody has the attention span of a fucking goldfish now. So maybe it is worth looking into. Inferno Rabbit 95 for 199 says countries you want to travel to. I'd like to go to Tokyo, to be honest, but I'm not really a big traveler. I don't even know if I'll go. But if I were to travel somewhere, I would really like to do that because I am a hashtag gamer trademark, and the idea of going to Tokyo for like Nintendo and Sega shit. I think Sega, they have some buildings in Tokyo. I'm pretty sure. Um, like I want to go to like arcades and shit. That would be cool. And I heard you can drive around in like Mario go karts, like Mario Kart, in the roads and shit. I had a friend who went there. He said it was like great. Specifically, like if you're a gamer and you go there, it's pretty cool. So that's something I would like to do. Thank you, Inferno Rabbit 95. Appreciate that. What else? What else? BM for £5 says, "Happy you're back. Excited for the stream. As a YouTuber, what do you think about every week another YouTuber drags the good name through the mud?" Oh, their good name through the mud? Yeah, by doing weird, creepy shit and stuff. Yeah, it's of course it's disappointing. Um, yeah, it sucks to hear. I don't know what else to say about it. Thank you, BM. Christopher Martinez for $5 says, "What do you think about the Studio Ghibli films? Thanks for the laughs over the years. You've inspired me to make much more impactful stories. Love ya." That's cool, man. Yeah, I love Studio Ghibli. I haven't watched all of them though. There's a bunch that I still gotta see. But I love Princess Mononoke was Ghibli, right? I'm pretty sure. Spirited Away. Ponyo. Um, I've seen a few more, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind, and I've really enjoyed all of those. So, been meaning to watch some other ones. Like I think Grave of the Fireflies is one that's been on my list for ages. Howl's Moving Castle, I want to watch. I gotta watch every one of those because like that. I mean, that studio is they just make amazing work. Period. Like one banger after another. Um, but I'm happy to hear that I inspired you, man. Thank you. Victor for 9.99 says, "Hey John, longtime fan of the show. Just got off work and really happy to see you streaming again. I was wondering if you've seen the Fallout show and what's your thoughts on it." Um, hmm, Fallout. Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. It looked interesting. I mean, I've I think people seem to be torn on it out of the people that I listen to, like people in my circles, like media critics and stuff. They seem to be sort of torn on it. Um, but I can't comment on it myself because I don't know. I haven't seen it myself, so I would like to check it out though. It's just who has time? I'm so fucking busy as it is. Um, yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind. But sorry, I can't really speak on it. Thank you, Victor. Blitz Blitz 18 for $2 says, "How much older is Kyle and Cody to Eugene and Tyler in season 7?" Um, I don't know. I didn't really think about their ages that much. Kyle and Cody, I guess, would be. Oh yeah, because they were both in season 7, right? So I guess like they were a couple grades apart in my mind. So like a year or two apart, a couple years. I don't know. Um, and we are caught up on super chats. Well, thank you very much for all of that, everybody. I do appreciate that. Um, okay, so now we can move on to our next segment. which is, get ready for it, news and technology. Here we go. Wow, amazing. Amazing title graphics. I know you're stunned. You're speechless. Um so I don't even know if I want to talk about any of this on my on my list, to be honest. So maybe we'll just skip this one. I don't know. The big thing I had on my list here is the assassination, okay, which happened during my absence. And I don't know if I have anything to say on it that's interesting that hasn't been said a million times already. I don't even know if people want me to talk about it because I mean, it's on the line of like political content, which is cringe, but it was also so huge. I remember I was on EFAP when it happened. Like we were live talking about House of the Dragon episodes 1 and 2, I think, and that's when we found out. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some people are like, I mean, it's been memory hold so quickly. People are like, "What assassination?" Oh yeah. Um, I don't think I don't think I should even talk about it. To be honest, I don't think people want to hear from me about it. I think I would rather just move on to film and television. To be honest, um, like there's some other technology. I had a bit about AI that I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if I've really thought about it enough. It's just something that worries me, because with AI, the cat's out of the bag, and who knows what that's going to do to employment. Whether it's all kinds of jobs. I mean, blue collar jobs, also creative jobs like mine, and also programming jobs, and tech jobs. Because one of the things I do with my time is, in addition to all the things I'm working on, I'm also studying to hopefully get some certification in computer repair and networking repair. And so I like to read a chapter out of a book every day whenever I can. Um, but I'm part of me is just like, is this even worth it? Like is all my education just going to be made redundant by a program that can do everything that I'm training to do? And am I already in trouble by the fact that my creative work could be made redundant? Or I mean, I feel the most safe in the creative territory because I feel like technology is still unable to replace that spark, that human spark of ingenuity, and the thing that makes something truly compelling as opposed to just fucking AI slop. Because I've seen some AI video content. I mean, some of it's impressive. A lot of it is just dog shit. Whereas, like, God, the machine doesn't have a clue what's going on here emotionally or contextually. I saw this tweet the other day. It was like memes, but it was like animated versions of like meme images, and they would sort of transition from one state to another. And it's just interesting to see how it works. And if you let it go on long enough, the AI model will just lose all sense of what's going on in the image in terms of context and emotion and just go completely off the rails. And so, like, obviously, a machine can't really comprehend a situation and an image to that degree to be able to do that well. And so, like, I see shit like that and I think, okay, I'm safe. I can still write my dumb scripts and machines aren't going to replace me in that regard. But when it comes to like like programming and stuff and like repairing, computer repair isn't going to go anywhere. The problem with that is just things evolve and change so quickly now because we're on this like technological upswing, like a sharp upward curve. um yeah, I don't know, it's just AI worries me a bit. and I'm worried. It's hard to predict what everything's going to look like 10, 20, 30 years from now. I mean, it does feel like it's going to be like Blade Runner and I'm still going to be alive, and that's kind of freaky to try and envision what that's going to look like. I hate the idea of being an old man in a Blade Runner environment, you know. Um I don't know. That was my bit on AI. I don't really have a lot here. I had a bit on Neuralink written down, where like they had a they recently tested a version of Neuralink, and they had him play a game, like some sort of like strategy RTS thing, and they they they've been testing the Neuralink on a guy who is, I think, paralyzed from the neck down, and they hooked him up with Neuralink, and he was able to control a cursor with, I think, eye movements. I think it was tracking the movement of his pupils across a screen, like figuring out what he was looking at. It was either that, or it was actually translating thoughts to input commands. So like, instead of the cursor just immediately warping to wherever it is exactly you're looking across an image, the idea instead, I think that this is actually the way it works, is that the hardware is reading the guy's brain, and it's just like, think what you would think if you wanted if you wanted the cursor to move right, and then they analyze what his brain is doing, and then they configure Neuralink to map that brain activity to that particular function. And then it's just like, see if you can do it now. And then they do it. And if it needs a bit of work, it's just like, okay, we need to fine tune the calibration and more accurately map this function onto this brain activity. I mean, of course I'm butchering it because I'm an idiot, but like, I was thinking the next game that he tries should be something really fucking hard, like Ninja Gaiden. Like, instead of a really simple mouse cursor game, just like have him play Elden Ring or something. This made me laugh thinking about that. Like, the hardest fucking game possible. Wouldn't that be fucking crazy if you saw a Neuralink demo and he was just fucking kicking ass on Ninja Gaiden? So that was interesting. Have him play Battletoads for NES. And then I had a couple other things written down, but it's all weak material. So I think I'm just going to move on to film and television, because I feel like talking about the assassination is just going to be too heavy and divisive. So I'd rather just move on to film and television. Okay? So here we go. We're moving on to a new segment. Get ready. Wow, amazing graphics. So Marvel's been up to some shenanigans. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? They're coming up with new Avengers movies. I mean, they had 2 slated already, because originally they were going to do the Kang the Conqueror thing. But then that stuff with Jonathan Majors came out, which I don't really know what to make of. Was he cleared of his charges, or I can't remember. I think there's something odd about it. I think some of the charges, or one of the charges, stuck, and then Disney was just like, nah, we got to move on to somebody else. And should have looked into it more before I fucking brought it up. But the reason I mentioned it, it was more so because of the Robert Downey Jr. announcement, which I thought was interesting. I'm actually looking forward to the Doomsday thing that they got planned. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I'm curious what the consensus is among the people that listen to my dog shit show. But I thought it was pretty cool. It seems like they're going. It seems like with this, I mean, obviously it reeks of desperation. Like that's what everybody's saying, right? It's just so desperate. And it's like, yeah, of course it is. Because Disney has been shitting the bed left and right. And it's just like, yeah, I want them to course correct. I would rather they be desperate than constantly double down and make the same dog shit decisions that they've been making over and over again. You know? So, and casting Robert Downey, I mean, the concern seems to be that he's not going to be Victor Von Doom, but rather some Tony Stark variant, which I'm not convinced they will do because it just strikes me as too stupid. Because I think Victor Von Doom is too respected a character, like in Marvel lore. And I think to like make a movie where it's just like, oh, it's Doctor Doom, but it's not Victor Von Doom. It's just Iron Man. It's just Tony Stark who went a different direction and he calls himself Doctor Doom for some reason, which makes no fucking sense to me. So it's just like, would they really do that? Because that seems to be the big worry. Like, I don't know if they'll just sort of lampshade it. I don't know if that's the right term, but just like, just sort of ignore the fact that it's Robert Downey Jr. again, and it's just like you're Victor Von Doom now. Just, I mean, I guess they got to do something to explain the fact that he looks so similar to Iron Man from the previous phases, whatever. But I'm willing to give it a chance. I want to see what they do with it. Because, I mean, the guy's a good actor. And I think he could do, Robert Downey Jr. could do Victor Von Doom really well. And I think he would play it in a way that's not simply repeating the Tony Stark performance. Like, I think he's smart enough. He's definitely a smart guy, and he would be smart enough to, like, take a different approach with this new character. And we might not even see his face is another thing. I imagine the only time we might see his face is if they do an origin thing with Victor Von Doom, where you see him before the accident that like scars his face, and he wears the mask forever from that point. But then there'd probably be like a scene near the end where they have a big Chungus fight, and his mask falls off, and he's like, "My face." Now you see how grotesque I am. And I think he just has like a little cut on his eye or something. I think that's the lore, isn't it, for the character? But he's just so vain and ashamed that he wears the mask. I mean, there's a bit of overlap with Tony Stark. I'm curious that if they'll do anything with. Because, like, in the comics, I think Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom were college roommates. So, I don't know if they'll do something with that and like somehow tie that with the fact that the same actor is playing both characters. I don't know what you could do with that exactly. I mean, I'm curious what they'll do, and I'm willing to give them a chance to see what they come up with, because maybe it'll be something interesting. Because they at least got the scripts for the films are now out of the hands of the guy who wrote Multiverse of Madness, which I thought was a big pile of dog shit. But now they got Stephen McFeely back, who co-wrote the Infinity War and Endgame. And I really enjoyed Infinity War and Endgame. I thought they were great. Infinity War more so. But I thought Endgame was all right and satisfying enough and fun and everything. So, if it's anywhere close to the quality of the of Infinity War and Endgame, and you got the Russos back directing, which I think they did a great job with those. I thought they did a great job with those movies. I haven't really. I mean, I've talked about this. I've talked about parts of what I'm saying on other shows and stuff, but for people who are unaware of my thoughts on this, I haven't been a fan of the Russo brothers filmmaking outside of their Marvel stuff. Like they did a movie with Ryan Gosling that I really wanted to like, but it was just for the amount of action that was in it, I found it really boring. Like the script needed work. I think Chris Evans was in it too. He was like the bad guy. He had a mustache or something. I forget the name of the movie. Um, but yeah, I've just been underwhelmed by the movies they put out outside of Marvel. But I know they're good at Marvel projects when Disney gives them like a script and a storyboard to work with. Like they are very good at turning that into a film that works. So I'm glad that they got those guys back for Doomsday and Secret Wars. And I'm glad that they got one of the writers of the last two Avengers movies back for this. So I think they might. I think there's the possibility that they could do a good job with it, and I'm just looking forward to see what they come up with. But I mean, like, if they do pull some like Tony Stark variant bullshit with Doctor Doom, then that will be. I'll be like, that's fucking dumb. Why did you do that? And I'll be really disappointed. But I'm not convinced that that's what's gonna happen yet. Um. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And another reason I'm looking forward to it is because um, doing Doctor Doom story and the Secret Wars story back to back reminds me a lot of the final season of Spider-Man the animated series, which I used to watch religiously as a kid, and I love that show and I love that last season because that actually did the whole multiverse thing way before the movies did. Like the multiverse and multiple Spider-Man thing. That's all in the last season of Spider-Man the animated series, which was actually pretty badass. Madam Web too. She was in that last season. Maybe the season before that she was introduced. I can't remember. But there's actually a really cool arc because like I can't remember how Madam Web comes into play, but she does, and then she sort of makes portals for Spider-Man to travel to, and then the Beyonder gets involved, and he sort of puts him on this battlefield which is basically Secret Wars from the comics, where Spider-Man has to build an army of heroes. He needs to pluck them out of existence on Earth and just build an army to like fight alongside him. And I guess the idea of the battlefield is to just figure out who the ultimate warrior is. It's like this cosmic showdown, basically. It's a pretty badass cartoon, and Doctor Doom eventually got involved. He's one of the people on the. Actually, I think he might actually be recruited by Spider-Man as one of the good guys initially. I can't remember because I think Doctor Doom is sort of morally ambiguous. I think sometimes. I can't. I don't know if they'll strictly make him a bad guy, and I guess they would in the movies. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. Anyway, it just the what they seem to have lined up for the new Avengers movies reminds me a lot of the cartoon that I used to really enjoy. So if it's also anything like that, then I might enjoy it. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it personally. I think a lot of people just were. It just feels everybody's always so divided on everything. Like a new movie comes out and it's like it's either amazing or dog shit. It's just like, for Christ's sake, is there just no middle ground anymore? Can something just be okay? Um, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Can talk a bit about that if you guys want. Um, that was another thing where people either loved it or hated it. You know, because of course, like I said, nothing can be just okay. Um, I thought it was it's a fun time at the theater. I did enjoy myself. I was having a particularly bad day, and at the end, I was just like, initially, I felt like I was too busy to go see a movie, but then I was just like, you know what? I need cheering up right now so bad. And Deadpool and Wolverine's out tonight. Maybe I'll just go see it, and then I'll be in a better mood. And I did, and I wasn't disappointed, honestly. I enjoyed myself enough, and I laughed enough, and I smiled enough. You know, it obviously has problems because it's a fucking mess. But Disney Marvel was already a fucking mess. You know, it was already in shambles before Deadpool and Wolverine came along. But what Deadpool does through the character of Deadpool and his sort of fourth wall breaking nature, he can come along and point at the mess that Marvel's in and be like, look what a fucking disaster this is. Isn't this hilarious? Let's make fun of it. Let's just make a movie out of this mess that is a mess in itself, but it doesn't matter because, you know, the whole franchise is in shambles anyway. And I guess the argument against it would be like, well, why waste time making a movie that just points and laughs at the wreckage Marvel and Disney is in? And why not instead just make a sweet movie that has integrity? And like, let's just start from scratch and then just start taking this seriously again. You know, just do that instead of making a movie that just plays in the mess that is Marvel Disney right now. Which I can understand. I understand that argument, but I did enjoy the the Deadpool movie, and it's easy to understand why they would take the comedic opportunity to make that film. You know, like I can totally see Ryan Reynolds seeing the state of Marvel and being like, you know, it would be great if Deadpool came in and just sort of made fun of everything, and we took advantage of the mess that everything's in and used the TVA that was established in Loki as sort of a vehicle to get Deadpool and Wolverine where we need them so we can see them together. I mean, I feel like too much of like the ridiculousness is being laid at the feet of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie when it was, like I said, it was already a mess. And the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, that was established by Loki. So that was already, the damage was done. You know what I mean? So Deadpool was just like, let's just use that to tell a story that's ridiculous and funny. I did find it funny. Although not every joke landed for me. I mean, probably sounds hypocritical coming from me writing a show like Arby and the Chief, but I did find a lot of the humor just juvenile and sometimes too graphic. Because it just felt weird hearing that from a superhero movie, like jokes about cum and shit. I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, it's funny, I guess, but like, I don't know. It just didn't sound right coming out of that movie a lot of the time. Some of the raunchy humor was fine. I mean, I get it. I mean, that is Deadpool's character. It just sometimes it felt like a bit too much, and I was just like, oh my god, like. But it there was nothing that was bad enough to make me like hate the movie or walk out of the theater or anything. Like I was quite enjoying it in spite of just some of the jokes not landing for me. Um, and then and you know the actors are so good at playing their respective characters, you know. And I remember Hugh Jackman, like he was saying on all his press tours that he announced his retirement. And then he saw Deadpool. And he's like, shit. Like, I just announced my retirement, but I haven't done a movie with Deadpool yet. Ryan Reynolds, I get along with him. He's got this um, superhero thing going with Deadpool. Deadpool's a great character. He's perfectly complementary to Wolverine in a really entertaining ways. And it's just like, wouldn't it be great if they had a movie together? And then it was nice to hear Hugh Jackman calling Ryan to say like, hey, I would love to do this if you want. I'm just like, that's cool. I'm glad they came together to do this. And, you know, it's like, it would be nice to see the two characters in a movie that took itself more seriously and had more integrity and stakes. But that's not the film's fault. And it's not even the bad Marvel films and shows' fault. Because, like, the multiverse was like the beginning of the end. And, you know, there are movies that handle the multiverse elements really well that have come out of Marvel. But it's just like, as soon as you do that, and you have items like the Time Stone, where you can just undo shit that happened, it's hard to get invested because you know at any point the writers can just pull whatever out of their ass to bring back somebody from the dead. You know, it's like nothing really matters that much. Like if somebody dies, you don't feel anything. It's just like, well, they're dead for now, but they'll probably come back at the end of the movie from the Time Stone or whatever the fuck. Or in another movie. I mean, it's the Deadpool and Wolverine is so batshit. It's like Chris Evans shows up as Johnny Blaze. And it's just like, Jesus, what the fuck are we doing? So, like, we're really just steering into nonsense here. And you have to just enjoy it on that level if you're going to enjoy it. I mean, I'm not saying you have to. It's not going to be everyone's cup o' tea, but I wanted to have a good time at the theater. I wanted to see those two characters together. I wanted to see a movie that at least had somewhat of a flow to it, and it does. It's just there's no stakes because everything's just so ridiculous and silly. It had some cool stuff in it. Some of the cameos were cool, even though it's just like they're silly cameos, but like it's nice to see some characters return. You know, spoilers, okay? I don't know who's seen it, who's not, but I'm gonna be talking about spoilers. You can switch this off if that's a concern. But I really like seeing Blade show up. I'm just like, that's fucking awesome, dude. Because Blade is a dope movie. The first Blade is great, and it has one of the best like opening scenes I've ever seen in a superhero movie. Where like he shows up at the Blood Rave. It's so fucking good. And Wesley Snipes killed that role, man. So it's nice to just see him part of the universe after all this time. Um, and it was fun seeing Elektra too, frankly. I mean, I don't think much of the Daredevil movies, but like those movies came out so long ago. It's just nice to see them after so long and appreciate the work that they put in, you know? Because superhero movies at the beginning, they were struggling to find a footing, you know? And like tie each other to themselves. You know, it's like they sort of trickled into pop culture awareness and they were sort of standalone, like doing their own thing. But then you'd have a movie here and there where that suggested a link between the two, and then Marvel came along and did the whole cinematic universe thing and basically turned movies into comic books, which is cool. You know, it's nice to have. I mean, I was a fan of the Marvel movies for quite a while, and I think it's cool to set up a universe like that where we can do the origin stories and then move past all that and not have to regurgitate the same stories again and move on to more interesting, substantial stories where we even mix characters together doing crazy shit. I thought that was really cool. But I mean, after Endgame, it all started really sucking. And then I saw Quantumania, and that was the last straw. I was just like, this sucks. This fucking sucks. Can't believe how much this sucks. It just wasn't well written. Because it seemed like the writer that they got to do it didn't give a shit. And even like listening to behind the scenes interviews with him, he even seems baffled as to how he got the job. Like, how the fuck did you get this job? People would kill to have this job, and you're acting like it just sort of fell in your lap and you don't even care. Like, I don't know how the fuck you get into a position like that. But yeah, so that was a shame. Everything sort of went downhill after Endgame. But I wonder if, beginning with Avengers Doomsday, that this is the start of like. I mean, I did enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine, but I mean, it's such a ridiculous film. You have to just enjoy it on that level. You have to enjoy the ridiculousness of it. But I wonder if, like, with Avengers Doomsday, they'll start taking themselves more seriously again, and it'll be like Infinity War. Or maybe everything is just such a mess now that they feel obligated to have, like, just portals everywhere and time stones and the TVA and shit. And it's just like, well, we've established them now. We got to use them. Like, part of me hopes that they'll forget a bunch of really silly shit that breaks the integrity of everything, and instead, like, make the new Avengers movies in the tone of like Infinity War, which I really enjoyed. I already talked about Robert Downey as Doctor Doom. I'm looking forward to it. I think he'd do a good job with it. I'm not so against the casting decision. I mean, I do agree that it's a desperate move on Disney's part, but it's just like, what do you want them to do? You know? I would rather they were desperate and tried to course correct than just double down and keep making dog shit. So, perhaps they should have gone with a different actor. Perhaps they should have said, you know what? Robert Downey's good, but he did his time as Tony Stark, and now this is an opportunity to showcase some new talent, and then we can preserve the integrity of his casting as Iron Man. Because I don't know what they're going to do with the fact that the same actor is playing both characters who are quite different. I mean, there is an overlap between Victor and Von Doom and Tony Stark. They're both like technical geniuses, but like Victor Von Doom's like a Romani origin guy who studied like the dark arts. Like, he's into like black magic and witchcraft and shit like that, I think. So he combines that with like his technical knowledge and his genius level intellect. He's like, he can do anything basically. He doesn't have like super like omega mutant powers like Apocalypse or anything, but I mean, he's like the next most powerful thing basically in terms of his like intellect and technical know-how and his ability to harness magic. That's like a lot. It's a lot of powers for one person to have. So part of me thinks, yeah, it would have been nice to see someone else do Doctor Doom. On the other hand, I think Robert Downey Jr. would kill it. He would take it seriously. He would play it much differently than he did Tony Stark. I think the guy has incredible range and can do pretty much any role you give him. And I want to see that. And plus, I think he wants to act. He wants to act. I don't think he's doing it just for the money, although they probably paid him a fucking enormous sum of money to do this. I don't think I think he wants to do it. And it's like, if you want to do it, then I'm happy to see your performance, you know? And it's like, he wants to be in the spotlight again, and I don't blame him. Because I think, like, after you do everything that he did, all the Marvel movies as Iron Man, he was probably like, okay, I'll do Endgame and then I'm done because I'm fucking tired and I'm old. But you know, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna retire from Marvel. I think was his plan. But I think with a lot of people, including old people, like they say they're gonna retire, and then you take a year off, and then you're sitting on your hands, you're bored at home in your giant mansion, and you kind of miss the spotlight. You miss people screaming for you at conventions, you know? And he probably wanted that feeling again. And he's just like, you know what? I got some energy back. I can do this. And then it's just like, all right, dude, sure. Is he still talking about RDJ? Yes, I am, but I don't have to anymore. I can move on. I do repeat myself a lot on him. I'm sorry about that. And this insecurity is starting to creep in because I feel like I'm boring and I'm putting on a bad show now. So I hope people are still interested in what I have to say. Although I am getting kind of tired. I don't know if we should pick up the rest of this later. Because if, like, I'm still willing to play Sonic Adventure later. But I feel like if I'm gonna do that, I need to take a break. You know? Like, I can't just go straight from one to the other. I need to take like an hour or two as a break. But I mean, I've still got other shit to talk about. I don't know if I should just power through or maybe save it for another stream. Because we haven't even gotten to gaming yet. I think what I should have done is just do one item under each category, and that'll be like one stream. But instead, my approach here was to just cover everything in one category, and now it's just like I'm tired. um, I mean, there's other shit under film and television that I had stuff to say about. Like I went and saw Longlegs, for instance. I saw Alien Romulus the other day. And then that's not even the television series. I mean, there's the fact that Halo got canceled. There's House of the Dragon. I've been watching The Bear, which is really cool. But maybe we'll save that for another episode because I'm actually quite tired now, and I need to at least take a break if I'm gonna do Sonic Adventure later. Star Wars Acolyte, yeah, I watched that just so I could talk at least somewhat competently on EFAP about it, and that was terrible. Borderlands, yeah, I heard that was dog shit. Um, and then like there's a whole gaming category, and there's a bunch of shit that happened with video games. I mean, people have been hacking in the Master Chief Collection. I wanted to talk about the Dead Rising remaster a little bit, some Call of Duty shenanigans, and some other walking simulator type shit that I've been playing that I wanted to talk about. But I think I'll end it there because I need to just like, because I was streaming this morning too. I was on side scrollers this morning, and now I've been doing this for how long have we been going? Almost 2 hours. Not that long. um, but I think we'll save the rest for another day. But I really appreciate everybody tuning in, and and all your super chats and everything. I hope you found me interesting. I oh yeah, I guess we'll catch up on super chats before I go. Almost forgot. Um, Ultra PC Boys Entertainment for $5 says there was a nostalgic Halo tweet that referenced Arby and the Chief that I tagged you in. Made me feel good to see your work being remembered. Um, oh, I think that was the one that I retweeted, right? I don't think you tagged me. I don't recall you tagging me, but I'm not trying to make a big deal about it. I don't care. But maybe I got it wrong and you did. Like I'm just busting balls. Um Either way, I do appreciate that you tweeted that. Um yeah, so thank you for the $5. That's very nice of you. Yeah, that was a funny tweet cuz it was interesting seeing the reactions to it. Cuz like what I retweeted was, this is juvenile and toxic. Whoever made this should be ashamed. And it was a clip from Master Chief Sucks at Halo 3 where he's got the big helmet on and he's playing and he's like shit talking with people in a lobby. And I was like joking, shitting on it like it was so offensive. And most people got the joke and realized it was me, but you know, it's funny seeing some people responding saying, "Hey, this is funny. Like this is from an era, you know, this was from back in the day and things were different and blah 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 and now everybody's a pussy now and shit was peak back then, bro. Shit was fire, bro." And some people were coming to my defense. Some people had some interesting things to say about the show, not knowing that it was me commenting on it. Like, yeah, it was juvenile, but that was sort of just the era. And what can I say? It is juvenile, but I am satirizing what was actually the state of affairs. You know, so yeah, that was a fun tweet. And I appreciate whatever you did tweet, if it was that. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else tweeting the thing that I'm talking about. I can't remember. But either way, I appreciate that and your super chat. Thank you. Victor for $1.99. Will you ever have Daniel Laszlo back on? I mean, I'm perfectly willing to talk to him, but I don't really I'm just don't really have like having guests on the show. Not that I'm against it, but I just prefer, like, if I'm gonna do a stream, I prefer not having the pressure of having like a guest on and having to engage them and keep them engaged. I feel more comfortable just being on my own talking, really. Um but maybe for like a commentary or something I'll have him back on to talk about stuff. Thanks, Victor. Xerxes for $5 says, "Please stop blowing my mind with all these insane, sexy graphics. Um, they are indeed mind blowing. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad you enjoy them." Loser Wolf for €5.99 says, "Yo, John, maybe I'm caught up in little details, but what's that kick-ass watch that you're wearing?" I think I sued it. It's a Pulsar, and it's yeah, it's like a proper wristwatch. I like the look of it. It's kind of old school. Thank you, Loser Wharf. I appreciate that. And I think we'll stop it there, guys. And the other stuff I mentioned, we'll cover that in another stream. And if I have the energy tonight, I'll play a bit of Sonic Adventure 2, and we'll see how far we get. I am kind of exhausted today, though, so we'll see. Um. Oh, Streamlab donations. You're right. I should check that. Thank you for reminding me. Now let's see if I can find it because I never fucking remember where this page is. On the dashboard. I imagine they would show up on the Streamlabs mini feed if there was anything. Sorry guys, I know this is dull. I'm navigating this interface trying to figure this out. Get help settings. No. Why can't they fucking make this easy to find, for Christ's sake? I think they would be in the mini feed if there was anything. Overlays? No, I don't need that. The App Store? No. Maybe it's a web URL that I need to visit. Fuck, I don't know. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to check that quickly just to make sure. Let's log in. And then let's go to my tips history. Oh no, wrong thing. Hang on. Ah, fuck. Sorry. Feel bad. Tipping. And the last one was on October 26th of last year. So I guess there's no new ones. Okay, we're caught up. But I'm glad I checked, and I appreciate you letting me know. Reminding me to have a look at it. So I'm going to end it here, okay, guys? Thank you very much for everything. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all your patience and support during my absence. I needed to take some time for myself, get everything sorted out, but I feel like I'm in a flow again. And I'm feeling creative and I'm working on shit and juggling a lot of stuff and I'm trying to get regular content out, okay? So we'll see how it goes. And please stay tuned. Like and subscribe and all that lame shit, okay? I may see you guys later today for some gaming. Some epic Sonic Adventure 2 gaming, okay? Either way, have a good night, everybody. Peace. I appreciate everything.